Hi Poke fans, Harry here, and welcome to my breakdown of the 7th episode of the Aim to Be a Pokemon Master series, Ride, Lapras Ride. And this episode was crazy. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, this episode starts with Ash and the gang watching 3 Wilmers bouncing on a beach. And Misty mentions that when Wilmer fills up their body with water, they can bounce around, which many of Wilmer's Pokedex entry states. And of course, Misty would know this being a water-type master. However, moving on from this, we quickly see a panicked and crying Lapras in the distance, and it comes towards them, and the gang look up, noticing it, and Pikachu realises that it's Ash's Lapras. And it's, well, this is the Lapras that Ash had in the Orange Archipelago. As Ash realises that Pikachu has realised that it's his Lapras, and Ash and Pikachu embrace it. And they realise that Lapras wants Ash and the gang to come with it, as it wants to show it something. So, of course, Ash's Lapras was first seen in the Orange Archipelago series in the episode The Lost Lapras. And in that episode, Lapras became part of Ash's team when he befriended it and eventually caught it. And Lapras' main role in Ash's team in the Orange Archipelago was transporting Ash and the gang throughout the Orange Islands, the Orange Archipelago. It was Ash's surfing Pokemon, and it was last seen in the episode Lapras of Luxury, where Ash reunites with it in the Johto region, and in that episode it becomes the leader of the herd. And its last minor appearance was in the episode Heroes Unite, where it appeared as a fantasy when Ash was reminiscing about his journey and all the Pokemon he had caught through his journey. And then the intro plays, and in the Pokemon section, it shows the first 4 Pokemon Ash caught in the Unova region, and that is the 3 Unovan starters and Unpheasant. So, first we see Oshawott in the episode Facing Fear with Eyes Wide Open, which was the episode where Oshawott finally mastered the move Aqua Jet. We then see Unpheasant defeating Skylar's Swanna shortly after it had evolved from Tranquil into Unpheasant in the episode An Amazing Aerial Battle. And then we see Snivy and Pignite in the episode Evolution by Fire, which was the episode in which Tepig evolved into Pignite to beat his previous trainer Seamus, who had abandoned him as a Tepig, with the help of Snivy. Snivy helped Tepig beat his previous trainer in a double battle against Seamus's 2 Fire-type Pokemon. And on the subject of Ash Pokemon, we learn later in this episode that Ash has returning Pokemon with him, consisting of Kingler, Sirfetch'd, Heracross, Bayleaf, and Torterra. Now, Kingler's first appearance was as a Krabby in the episode Mystery at the Lighthouse, and Krabby later evolved into Kingler in the episode Round 1 Begin, which was the first round of the Johto League, the first league that Ash participated in, and Krabby was his first Pokemon, which later evolved into Kingler in that Round 1 battle. Its last major appearance was in the episode The Perfect Match, where it battled against Misty's Poliwhirl and Psyduck in the World Cup tournament. And its last minor appearance was in the episode Heroes Unite, where Ash united with all of his Pokemon after he beat Leon to become the Pokemon World Champion. And next up is Sirfetch'd, whose first appearance was as a Galarian Farfetch'd in the episode Toughing It Out. And Galarian Farfetch'd soon evolved into Sirfetch'd in the episode Beyond Chivalry, aiming to be a League Master. And then its last major appearance was in the episode Toying with Your Emotions, where it battled against Leon's Mr. Mime and Rillaboom. And its last minor appearance was in the episode Partners in Time, where it appeared as a vision to Ash's Pikachu and also celebrated with all of Ash's Galar Pokemon after Ash beat Leon. And next up is Heracross, whose first appearance was in the episode A Sappy Ending, where Ash caught it, and then its last major appearance was in the episode A Semi-Final Frontier, where it was the first of Ash's Pokemon to battle against Tobias's Darkrai. And its last minor appearance was in the episode Heroes Unite, where Ash united with all of his Pokemon after beating Leon. And next up is Bayleaf, and Bayleaf's first appearance was as a Chikorita in the episode The Chikorita Rescue, and Chikorita soon evolved into Bayleaf in the episode Current Events. And then Bayleaf's last major appearance was in the episode Playing with Fire, where it battled against Harrison's Houndoom and Blaziken. And its last minor appearance was again in the episode Heroes Unite, where Ash united with all of his Pokemon after beating Leon. And last but not least, we have Torterra, whose first appearance was as a Turtwig in the episode Getting Twiggy With It. And it later evolved into Gretel in the episode Aiding the Enemy. And then it evolved again into Torterra in the episode The Fleeing Tower of Sunnyshaw. And Torterra's last major appearance was in the episode A Real Rivalizer, where it was sent out against Paul's Drapion. And Torterra's last minor appearance was in the episode again Heroes Unite, where Ash united with all of his Pokemon after, of course, beating Leon. And Ash isn't the only one who has returning Pokemon. We also see Brock and Misty have returning Pokemon. Brock has Marshtomp, and Marshtomp's first appearance was as a Mudkip in the episode A Mudkip Mission, and Mudkip later evolved into Marshtomp in the episode A Chip Off the Old Brock. And its last appearance was in the episode Home is Where the Start Is, where Ash and Brock parted ways with May and Max, and then Brock and Ash later parted ways again in that episode. And Misty's returning Pokemon is Gyarados, and Gyarados' first appearance was in the Pokemon Chronicles spin-off in the episode Cerulean Blues. And Gyarados' last major appearance was in the episode Partners in Time, where it was with Misty watching Ash's battle against Leon. But back to the episode, Lapras takes Ash and the gang to a Wailmer who has got stuck in a hole on this small little rock island, and is got stuck in this hole from hopping around, like the Wailmer were doing for Ash and the gang before. And then Ash, of course, wants to help this Wailmer get unstuck from the hole. And we see the camera pans up and we see Latias watching them in its invisible form. And this marks the first time we've seen Latias near the beginning of the episode rather than just before the end. Of course, not including the episode The Winds of Beginning, The Endless Road, which I actually did a breakdown of, and I will link that episode up in the cards above. So check that out if you haven't already. But this is weird because we've never seen Latias watching all this unfold before the end, but now we're seeing it near the beginning. However, it quickly becomes clear that Ash can't lift the Wailmer out. So he sends out Kingler and Sirfetch'd to help him break the rock around the Wailmer. So he instructs Pikachu to use Iron Tail, Kingler to use Crab Hammer, and Sirfetch'd to use Brutal Swing. However, the rock doesn't break and it actually blasts Ash, Pikachu, Kingler and Sirfetch'd back. And while the Pokemon land near Misty and Brock, and most of them land in the water so they don't get a bumpy landing, Ash actually lands inside the cavern. And he gets stuck in there, so he has to call out Heracross to fly him out of the cavern. And since lifting Wailmer out and breaking the rocks around Wailmer didn't work, Misty proposes that they fish Wailmer out. Of course, it being a water-type Pokemon and it being stuck somewhere, so fishing could work. So to do this, Ash and Misty use their fishing rods, and we see that Misty still has her mini Misty lure, and Ash still has his silent lure. And both lures were last seen in the episode Ash vs Misty Seaside 1-on-1, where both Ash and Misty had these exact lures on their fishing rods, and I actually did a breakdown of Ash vs Misty Seaside 1-on-1, and I will link that up in the cards above, so check that out if you haven't already. And to help with this plan, Ash calls out Bayleaf to help Misty pull out the Wilma, and Ash uses his Heracross to help him pull out the Wilma. And all the Pokemon help Ash and Misty to pull out the Wilma, with Brock calling out his Marshtomp to help Misty pull out the Wilma. And as well as that, all the wild Pokemon that were gathered around are cheering them on, and they actually managed to pull Wilma free. However, it lands into the cavern, and upon landing in the cavern, it evolves into Wailord. And so with its massive increase in size, it gets stuck in the cavern. So it's gone from being a Wilma to being stuck in this smallish hole to evolving into this massive Wailord. So it's now got stuck in the cavern, which is just silly and crazy and insane. And since the gang were only just able to pull out the Wilma, they realise they need more manpower. And upon this, Pikachu notices Team Rocket. So Pikachu asks Team Rocket's Meowth for their help, but of course they refuse. However, Pikachu electrocutes them into helping the gang, which Pikachu has done in, I think, every episode Team Rocket has appeared in. He has electrocuted them. So with the threat of electrocution, Team Rocket say they will help out Ash, as he has a plan. And to help with this plan, Ash calls out his Torterra, and this marks the first episode of the Aim to Be a Pokemon Master series, where Ash has a full team of 6 Pokemon. Of course, this being Pikachu, Kingler, Surfetch'd, Heracross, Bayleaf, and Torterra, because before, the most Pokemon he has had in his team has been 5, which I always thought was a bit weird, but this marks the first episode of this series where Ash has a full team of 6. So now Torterra is out, Ash goes over his plan, which is for Torterra to use Frenzy Plant to wrap it around the Wailord while sitting on Team Rocket's Mecha Magikarp. And then Team Rocket will pedal away with Torterra on top to try and pull the Wailord out. And Wilmas will be each side of Team Rocket's Mecha Magikarp to keep it balanced, so Torterra's Frenzy Plant will have a better job of pulling out the Wailord. And while Team Rocket are pedaling their Mecha Magikarp, they say a variation of their motto. And Ash's plan goes on that every other human and Pokemon will pull on Torterra's Frenzy Plant to try and pull the Wailord out. And as well as all of this happening, Ash, Heracross and Bayleaf will be in the cavern, pushing Wailord out from the inside. And then the plan works, and Wailord ends up getting free. And this is just great. Of course, their plans have worked, and to deal with Team Rocket, Torterra, Brock and Pikachu jump off the Mecha Magikarp, causing Team Rocket to sink into the sea. And this is a reference to the episode Fit to be Tied, where they suck in their Mecha Magikarp, like in this episode. However, by freeing Wailord, it creates a bigger problem, like freeing the Wilma did. So this time, by freeing the Wailord, it makes the tides rise up, trapping Ash in the cavern. However, Lapras comes up with a plan this time to free Ash by freezing the water with Ice Beam, and then the Wailord that they just freezed uses Weather Ball to create a slide that Lapras slides on to get Ash, which is a reference to when Lapras helped Ash get his first Orange Island gym badge from the Machian gym by sliding on ice. And of course, Lapras is able to save Ash, and they slide back to Misty, Brock, and all of the Pokemon. And as this episode draws to a close, Wailord creates a rainbow, and Latias flies by it in its invisible form, which is a reference to the episode Pokemon I Choose You, where the first rainbow Ash and Pikachu saw on their adventure had Ho-Oh flying past it. And now this time they see a rainbow in their last series with another legendary flying past it, even though Ash and Pikachu can't see it. And then we see Lapras's herd. And as this episode states, Lapras is their leader, which we saw it become in the episode Lapras of Luxury, which again was Lapras's last major appearance in the Pokemon anime. And it's just so great to see that this series again acknowledges that Lapras is the leader of its herd, which we saw it become in, of course, Lapras's last major episode. And before this episode says goodbye to Lapras, Brock and Misty remark the similarities between Ash and Lapras, as neither of them could leave the Wailmer/Wailord stuck in the hole, and it's just so heartwarming to see the similarities between Ash and all of his Pokemon, not just Pikachu. And as this episode says goodbye to Lapras, with, of course, Ash and the gang parting ways with it, it's similar to Lapras's original goodbye in Viva Las Lapras, where it left Ash's team and rejoined its herd. And as the music builds up, as we see Lapras and its herd swim off into the sunset, Misty realises to save the Wailord, they could have just used a Pokeball and then released it, which again would have been a lot easier, and until Misty said this, I didn't even think they could have used a Pokeball, but they all realised this, and then Ash says, it's fine, we had fun, which, this is what the episode was. It was just a bit of fun, and also we got to see Lapras again, so it was great. And then the outro plays, and it's the Riding on Lapras song. And this song, for the outro, of course, Riding on Lapras, shares the same title as this episode in Japan. Because in Japan it's called Riding on Lapras, which is Lapras's name in Japan. And I just think it's a really cool thing that the outro of this episode is the same as the title in Japan. And I just think this episode was really cool. It was just so amazing to see Lapras again. And as Ash said, this episode was just a bit of fun. And of course, we got to see Lapras, so it wasn't just filler. I think this episode was amazing. Of course, we get a sneak peek of the next episode where it seems a Pokemon is harbouring a grudge. But as I said, I think this episode is great. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this episode. And also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like. Also subscribe and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.